right. Just check one more place. Yes, here we are. Hello, everybody. We are live. I'm just slightly past the hour today, which is a big improvement from last week, which is the first time I did this new time. Everything takes a little adjustment when you make a change. I guess sometimes it probably is super smooth, and sometimes it just uh, work your way to um, a new way of being. It includes turning my phone off, which I forgot to do. Welcome everybody. Lori Swanson here, CEO of Inspire Tech and the founder of Career Alchemy Academy. There's a QR code that you can link to find out more information about Career Alchemy Academy, or it'll eventually could take you to my homepage, and you can learn more about private coaching there as well. So if this is the first time you're watching me, thank you so much for showing up. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much for spending, part of your schedule digging in with me about different ways, especially today, different ways to look at our careers. I consider myself sort of a differently ambitious um, uh, career coach with a spirit-centered approach. So I do, it's not my first rodeo. I've been around the block a little bit. I feel like I've done a lot of deep dive research into um, all kinds of different topics. That's kind of who I am, and especially, spiritual um, based readings, but also, a founder of a multi-million-dollar recruiting firm. I've built businesses. This happens to be the third business that I've started that doesn't include like my lemonade stand from childhood. I should count those. Then I and I even consider selling Girl Scout cookies my business. In a way. Well, I guess I was a sales rep for Girl Scouts, but it absolutely helped me um, to build like real businesses. That experience. So, I thank you, Girl Scouts of America. You made a difference for me and helped me be successful in my career. So, and you'll notice if this is your first time watching that I sometimes go on little teeny tangents, but I always come back. And where I come back to is a topic that I want to talk about, usually based off of um, a recent newsletter that we sent out. And you can go to the website and sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll get these ahead of our LinkedIn lives. I almost always am release the newsletter on Mondays at 3 o'clock Central Time, and then these right now, the Career Alchemy, this Career Alchemy broadcast occurs a couple days later, and and so you can have both. You can just show up here. You can look in your LinkedIn's later and find these broadcasts and listen to the ones that we've already had. Some of the topics are pretty practical, sort of career guidance, and based on my experience as a recruiter, and then working with women in tech and product at different levels, all the way up to the C-suite, and working with founders as well who are building uh, tech and product companies. So that's what I do now. And today's topic is one of those that I like could not wait to get on this recording today, this broadcast today, to talk about. It's one of these ones where I just felt like, oh my gosh, just let me talk about this. This is such a different approach, I think, to the mission of of Inspire Tech is to change work culture so it works for everyone. That's kind of one of our overarching missions, and how we do it is through coaching and webinars and things like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that actually inside of the conversation today. But this particular topic, I think, speaks right to the heart of a way to um, really shift work culture. And so that's, I think, why I was so excited and could not wait for this morning to talk to you all. So I titled this particular discussion today, I think I figured out your purpose. And it came, so I run Career Alchemy Academy. It is a community of women that gather every week to get coaching, to talk through scenarios, to get advice, from other members within Career Alchemy Academy, get coached by me. And we also have a touchstone that's kind of a shared focus that we have every month. And this month, I've been doing it for 21 months now. Career Alchemy, believe it or not, has been around for 21 months. And the touchstones have come pretty easily. Like I'll think about what do we want to focus on? What's the shared focus for the month? I'll come up with a word or a short phrase, and then it just follows, and we kind of build every week through the month on that particular touchstone, layering on top of it, and it's been, I would say, easy until this month. So the word I selected was purpose. And I thought purpose, like, of course, that seems solid and probably easy to talk about, or to consider, what is your purpose, right? But what I found was I was feeling as I was starting, because I usually, have this, we have this overarching shared focus word, touchdown. And then I think about, okay, I'm going to talk about, this the first week and this the second week and this the third week, that layering that I'm talking about. And there's often some exercises that occur or go, that we do in order to deepen our connection to the touchstone. And so as I started to do that, I was like confused, I it felt like the word purpose wasn't as solid as I thought it was. It felt mercurial, right? It just, I couldn't quite get my arms around it, to the point where I was like, I just can't even use this word. I've got to come up with a different touchstone. But I didn't. I stuck with it, kept thinking about it, and considering what the 4 weeks would look like. And what helped bring me clarity was to think about what purpose wasn't. So your purpose is not, it's not what you do, right? That's what I consider to be your mission. It's not how you do it, or that's more tactics and strategies and actions. It's not where you're headed. That's your goal, right? But your purpose is the why beneath what you do. It's the intention, the meaning, the reason underneath the what's and the where's and the how's. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. And it's not necessarily unique, but it gave me kind of some solid ground with which to work through, the month. And I felt pretty good about where I had landed. And I was, like I said, I had something to work with, but there was a part of me that still felt a little, I guess I'll say unsettled. Like it felt solid, yet also something was missing, I guess. But I wasn't sure what that was. And I thought, well, you know, I've got what I feel is a solid starting point for this month. We'll focus on finding. I created kind of a simple framework to find your purpose exercise for the alchemist that we would work with. The exercise was strong. Thinking about your purpose as the why beneath what you do felt good, right? And like I said, not unique. Like, who hasn't heard of Simon Sinek, the why guy? And if you haven't seen his TED Talk, on why, it's so good. Obviously, I don't know how many views it has, but a lot. And it really is, and it's simple. And and I think that it's where many people have landed when they think about, your purpose, your why. And so I just kept moving forward, but I knew there was, this little thing niggling me that I knew that there was something more to this, something deeper, I would say. Kind of an overarching, like your why is your purpose is your why, and it's purpose with a small p. I had a sense that there was also a purpose with a capital P, like this deeper, more meaningful purpose, but I just didn't know what it was. And so I thought, I've felt this way before, and I know what action to take then, which is sort of non-action. It's to let um, call in my spiritual board of advisors and let them work with this idea, this confusion that I'm in, and help bring me clarity. And I've talked about my SBOA, my spiritual board of advisors before, that includes kind of my expanded self, the my you decide. I think about as kind of where this kind of defined line that communicates with um, smarter beings than me that have a wider vision of my purpose with a capital P on planet Earth right now. And so and they are always guiding and supporting me and holding me and caring for me. And so I was like, hey, I'm still feeling a little like something's missing here, and I need your help so that I can see it more clearly. And then I just move forward, creating, like I said, this framework that I could use inside of the Career Alchemy around, helping you find your purpose and giving just a little more needed time to the spiritual board of advisors to bring me clarity, to sort of download some clarity on the capital P purpose. And the clarity came when I was talking to another client about this touchstone. So she had been unable to she's a private client, and private clients you can join Career Alchemy Academy without being a private client. But if you are a private client working one-on-one with me, you get access as part of your, working with me as a private client. You get access and you're just automatically a member of Career Alchemy Academy for as long as we're working together in one-on-one. And so she had been unable to make the call, and I will say, finding out the touchstone for the month is one of the things that the alchemists are always cannot wait. It's a new month. What's going to be our touchstone? Like, it's become, for all of us, I think, something we look forward to. And so with talking with her, because she'd been unable to make the call, I kind of walked her through. I let her know what the touchstone was, purpose. And I walked her through like what it wasn't. It's not what you do. It's it's not where you're going, your outcomes, and it's not how you're doing things. I said, and I said, so, and we created this framework, and I said, let me give you an example. So I used an example from my work, and if you have pen and paper, you can write this down because it is very useful. So I started with, this is what I do. I'm a coach, and you might be a VP of product, or you might be, a senior designer. You might be, a quality assurance manager, like whatever. This is your title, really. And I wrote, I am a coach, right? And then this is how I do it. So I coach through private coaching, through Career Alchemy Academy, through webinars and my newsletter that I put out. These are all ways in which I embody this coaching persona, right? Events that I lead, panels that I monitor, even through speaking, all of that. And then the where I'm headed, sort of the outcome of what I do, is that I get to share my wisdom, I get to have fun, and I get to make a difference and create income to sustain, make a difference with the women I'm coaching and create income to sustain my life because, money works pretty well down here on Earth. And so I think one of the reasons most people are working is to create the income they need to meet their needs and hopefully pursue their dreams, sustain their life, right? So that's kind of, an outcome. And then finally, the why of coaching for me was that it's an opportunity to use my gifts, my skills, my abilities, my interests to help women feel confident and clear and ready to go after their dreams, make more money, and have more fun. And that, so when you say your why like that, that particular part of the framework, um, what I do, how I do it, the outcomes I'm creating, and then the why I do it. When you get to that why point, there should be some tingles, right? Like it really does feel like there's that you've spoken a truth, and so it was in that process. I'm walking her through, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about what you do, how you do it, the outcomes you're creating, and why you're doing what you're doing, which is different than outcomes, being clear about that. But it's really more of the heart of what you're doing. And it's connected to using your gifts and abilities and skills. Um, and as I was saying that to her, the download came. Like the spiritual board of advisors is like, okay, tell her now, show her now, give her the clarity now. And it just like, bam, I just knew, I realized that for me, there was an even deeper purpose, a purpose with a capital P. And perhaps this particular purpose is an overarching everybody purpose. That's kind of what what the download was saying is, we have sort of these individual purpose with a small p, here again in the physical world, what we do, how we do it, the outcomes we're creating, and the why underneath it that includes using all of these gifts, skills, and abilities that we've been born with and that we've honed and through learning and education and experience have gained. We're using all of those to make a positive difference in some way through the work we're doing. Yes, but the spiritual download I received was, and there is even like that points you to the North Star, that framework I was just talking about, but then there is the North Star. And that's your purpose with the capital P. And perhaps for all of us, the purpose with the capital P is to use these gifts, skills, and abilities in ways that spread love in the world. So every thought you have, every word of wisdom you share through your work, as a parent, as a friend, as a sibling, as a child, through volunteer work you do, like every word of wisdom you share, every action you take is an opportunity to spread love, to um, act upon the true north, capital P purpose that we all are here. Perhaps, um, I believe it, but I'm not suggesting you have to believe it. But I would suggest consider believing the possibility that it's so simple that your purpose with a capital P, your real why, is to spread love. Um, and so now the framework shifts a little bit. What I do, I coach women, how I do it through, private coaching and through Career Alchemy Academy, through writing, through speaking, all those different hows, right? Um, the outcomes that I'm creating are, to share my wisdom, to have fun, to make a difference and create income to sustain my life. That's, what's happening out there to make a difference with people. And the why with the small p is to use my gifts and my skills and my abilities to help to support women, to inspire women to feel confident and clear for themselves and ready to go after their dreams and make more money and have more fun. And then my purpose with a capital P is to continue to expand on the use of my gifts, skills, and abilities through the work I do in the world in order to spread love in all of its highest forms. And as I was walking through this framework with my client, and I suggested, and because the download came, I like said, I don't know, but I want to, like this just came to me. And so we started talking about the small p purpose and the big capital P purpose. And she had a realization. She said, I realized that like you said, every action I take is an opportunity to spread love, can send a ripple of love out in the world. That reinvigorated her. That she said, this understanding reinvigorated my job search. She said, just, applying for new roles, because she's on a search, right? Um, we know it's can be exhausting and tiring, but she said, I see it as an opportunity to connect with people I've never connected with before. I see it as an opportunity to, as I'm applying for that job, that I'm, saying to them, look, I have gifts, I have skills, I have abilities um, that I can share with, with this organization, that I can help in growing this organization, and that I can help in building this team, inspiring this team. And that is a form of love, many forms of love right there, right? And that helped to give her some juice back to this job search where she was like, clicking apply was like, spreading love, spreading love. And because she wasn't just looking for a job to pay her bills and use her gifts, abilities, and skills, um, but something bigger was going on, that through her career uh, and by applying for jobs, that she was spreading love. So, and I just want two things to add to that. So, um, when I think about, I had said, the download said that the true north purpose for all of us, perhaps, is that our only job is to spread love in in the highest forms. And the I think it was really important that it isn't just to spread love, but to spread love in the highest forms. Because as I ponder and think about that, I realize that, and I've read in the books, right? And different books have said that everything is love. And I've thought, really? How could everything be love? But then I realized that there are different, perhaps, again, I'm always just working with this, so work with me. Love to hear your comments on this idea, that there are maybe different levels of love, lower forms of love and higher forms of love, and how that might be true is, for example, this week, I was talking with someone and something they said made me want to roll my eyes. And so we've all been there, we've had our kids roll their eyes at us. We've been in a meeting and someone says something and you kept yourself in check, hopefully, but maybe not even, and you're like, oh my God, like that sigh, that eye roll. And um, you might think that that's not very loving. But what if it is the way it is a form of love, a lower form of love, is that it gets to give you an opportunity to find a way to create or to spread love in a higher form. So it is love because, and going back to this example, so I had this feeling of wanting to roll my eyes at this person. I actually think I did. They didn't see it, but I actually think I did. But as I did it, I felt sad, like I'm like, I don't want to be that person that rolls their eyes at other people, you know? And so in that, how that experience was so loving for me because then I got a chance to choose a higher form of love. And in my case, what I did was send gratitude, which is, higher forms of love, kindness, generosity, um, patience. Those are higher forms of love. Eye rolling, judgment of other people, which is essentially what that was, is a lower form of love, but it's still a form of love because it gives you a pathway to being able to shift and do something even in more loving way. The bigger purpose, right, of spreading love. And so I closed my eyes in the moment and I just sent gratitude for them for showing me the pathway to a higher form of love. Gratitude. And that I just changed, and that just had me feeling love for them just in general, and love for myself, compassion, another high form of love, compassion for myself, that and also appreciation of this journey that I've been on that has given me the opportunity to see that there's nothing wrong with judging someone else. Um, if you recognize it as is a lower form of love and an opportunity to spread love in a higher form. So, wow, I did not know I was going to talk about that, but uh, it is my big P. It is my big P to um, help myself, you know, become better at spreading love in higher forms and recognizing the lower forms of love as the pathway that they are. But they are a form of love, to know that and to recognize that I have this sort of physical world purpose with a small p that I'm doing, which is wonderful, but that all of us may have this true north, those things that are pointing us to true north, and then the actual true north of of the reason, the why behind why we're here is to spread love in all of its highest forms, to expand our capacity to receive love so that we can expand our capacity to spread love, so we can give and receive and ripple out love in all of the dark places within ourselves, in the world. Like we can do that through gratitude and appreciation and patience, and non-judgment and fewer eye rolls, everybody, fewer eye rolls. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And just the final piece. So I sent out the blog, the newsletter. It has the blog in it about that I think I figured out your life's purpose. And then on the subject line, when you get it as an email, there's sort of that subtext, and it said hint, and it had a whole bunch of hearts, right? Because it was about spreading love. And I got this back, and it's right here. And I blacked out the person's name because I didn't necessarily have permission yet to share their name, which is okay, but I am going to share what they wrote to me. They said, "This is the most powerful newsletter I have ever, I'm going to cry, I have ever received. deep thinking, actions, results. Do you see how this person just spread love to me, appreciated the work that I'm doing? Um, Look how powerful, love is. So, that's what I have to share for you today. And may you go forth and spread love in all its highest forms through the work you're doing, the people you're connecting with, the opportunities you have to shift from a lower form of love, using it as a pathway to a higher form of love in every moment today. Ripple it out. This is the only thing that we need more of. And we each have uh, the ability to change work culture and change the world through just this recognition. So hopefully that was helpful to you in your work and your career and your life. Um, I am signing off and gonna get myself a little Kleenex because sometimes love makes you cry the happiest of tears. So have a beautiful, peaceful, loving day today and ripple it out, spread the love, and I love you.